Hello, all, and welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but it's that time of the year where everything's hectic and crazy, and one, just like yourselves, is trying to make sure that everything's on point as far as your family, friends, your business, your job, your money, etc., and so forth. So, hope all is well. If you reside in the DC metropolitan area, Virginia, Maryland, DC, as we call the DMV, be safe out there because we got ice coming our way, and they've already closed the local schools within the county that I reside in Prince William County. So hopefully I don't have to go to work tomorrow and I can spend more time doing more productive things. But anyways, I'm going to touch on the subject that I'm sure we're all love to talk about, good old tax returns, given the fact that, the deadline's almost here. And a lot of people get real nervous and shaky when it comes to doing their taxes or when it comes to dealing with the tax man on any level. But I really want to talk about what do you do when you get a tax return, not the ones that don't get a tax return, but the ones that actually do get a tax return. And what are you doing with it? Are you doing what the majority are doing? Are you just going out there and stimulating your local country's economy? Or are you doing what I like to say, this quote that I love from the book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Are you paying yourself first and then paying everybody else later? Because at the end of the day, if you work for somebody, the government gets paid first, then you get paid. And then depending on the circumstances, you might have to pay the government again, whether it's regards to your taxes or you haven't handled your business and you didn't pay specific debts, et cetera, and so forth. It just all depends on what category you fall in. 'Cause the question I'm really trying to get to, and I want to ask everybody, is are you trying to really get out of the rat race, or are you just trying to be a conformist and stay in the rat race? Because the first thing is, if you're not involved with trying to invest your money and to save your money on a regular basis, especially when you get a tax return. And I'm talking about the people who are like homeowners, future homeowners, people who have children, and all that good stuff, people who get those sort of tax credits, because the business people, obviously what they're doing is when they know how to make money, and then they know how to make money work for them at the same time, because that's how they stay in business, and that's how they grow their business, and that's how they stay successful, etc., and so forth. So that's the question I have. If you fall in those categories I just mentioned, what are you doing with that money? Are you putting it in a college fund for your children? Are you doing a great thing for your kids as far as buying pieces of stocks or government bonds or setting up an IRA of some sort? Whatever the case may be that might tickle your fancy. What are you doing with that specific money? You putting that money away for a rainy day fund. The main things you should be doing is putting it away for a rainy day fund and buying cheap stocks. $5, $10 a month. I mean, I just bought Litecoin for $10 this morning. So, stuff like that. You can't even fill a gas tank with $10 anymore. But I bought a piece of Litecoin and a piece of stock. So it's one of those questions, or are you going to use that money if you don't own a home to buy your first home? And if depending on, hey, the situation where you live in, if it's just you and one kid, you and your spouse and one child or two kids, hey, put that money to some good use, put it into a business. Maybe you and your spouse can just discuss creating some sort of a business plan. If you have kids and you're a working mother, hey, mothers have been doing this for decades. Have your own little daycare at your apartment or house or wherever you might reside at. And then, hey, you make a little money, maybe and that way you don't have to worry about who's watching your kids, because you're already watching your kids, but you're getting paid to watch other people's kids all at the same time. Oh, hey, you can be an Amazon Flex driver, Uber Eats. A lot of people don't want to drive other people around in their cars, and honestly, I don't blame them. So you got Uber Eats, you got Amazon Flex. So you're delivering stuff to people's houses, and you work when you feel like working. So one of the best jobs to have if you're a parent. I mean, my Uber driver last week, she was working mother. She didn't have a job. She was an Uber driver full time. Uber Eats, and Amazon Flex. So she loves it. She gets to work whenever she wants to work. Her husband works, and she gets to take care of her kids, and nobody else has to watch her kids. She watches them. She's not paying for childcare. It's a win-win situation, because from what everybody tells me, childcare is very, very, very expensive, to the point where it could probably pay for a college education nowadays, or a car payment, or car payments, or pay rent or mortgage, whatever the case may be. So It's something to think about. And then you, as a home business owner, guess what? You receive more tax breaks. And in this new tax market that we're in right now, it's not the homeowners and it's not the people who have children that are going to get the biggest tax breaks. Now it's the business owners that are going to receive the biggest tax breaks. Not getting political. It's just the way of the world right now, and that's what we're in. And you got to adjust accordingly to whenever you're put into a different atmosphere. You know, you move to a new state, new country, you got to adjust accordingly when you get put into that new specific atmosphere because it won't be the same. And sometimes it's great to be placed in a different atmosphere because then it helps you grow as an individual, as a person, whether you're growing as a mother, father, spouse, career-wise, company-wise, if you own a company, et cetera, and so forth. You're putting yourself in a better position to grow because you have left your great old thing called the comfort zone, which can be, in a sense, a death sentence for a lot of people. So leaving your comfort zone is a great thing, and it can help you grow as an individual. And that's the thing. It's like those are the kind of conversations you want to have with your spouse, you know. And another thing with your friends, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times. You are who you hang out with. You cannot be a person who wants to be successful and you're hanging out with a bunch of people who are losers or people that are in their quote unquote comfort zone and don't want to leave it, have no interest in leaving it, you know, because then that keeps you still and stagnated, and you cannot progress and move forward. It's not a good thing, you know. Are you just talking about specific things that don't really matter, or are you talking with your boys? Hey, man, there's an apartment complex in Detroit. Now, Detroit is somewhat of a quote unquote bankrupt city, so quote unquote deteriorated city. But you have a lot of foreign investors going to the city of Detroit, buying up land and buying up property for 2 cents on the dollar. And they're putting their money in there slowly but surely, and they're revitalizing communities within that city. And you got other people, other Americans that are doing the same thing because when there's an economic collapse, what the people who have the money do? They buy up the real estate and they flip it. Now, whether they sell it as a profit or they put businesses there, they put homes there, apartment complexes there, et cetera, and so forth. It's a whole different conversation. But or are you just in the place where you just want to put rims on your car and get the newest car, the newest jewelry, the newest clothes, the newest this, the newest that, all that crap that don't mean nothing after you buy it, and all that crap is doing is just making the people who created it and sold it to the retail company or to Amazon richer, and then you're making Amazon richer at the same time. Anything wrong with that? No, that's how our society works. But it's just something to think about in the long run, you know. Because one of my biggest pet peeves, don't like me for it. It is what it is. Life goes on. Is that men, and I'm definitely talking to the men right now, know more about what's going on in entertainers and athletes' lives and their financial portfolio and how their careers and their teams are going to progress more than they are about their own freaking lives and how their financial situation is right now, currently, and how their financial situation could actually progress. You know, I think that's a conversation that I should see more of on Facebook. Hey, man, how could we come up? Hey, Larry, hey, man, there's an apartment complex over there. So it's about $30,000. Needs a little bit of work in Detroit. But, hey, man, people still live there. We buy this place, man. We could really come up and get some residual passive income on a monthly basis. We have to deal with a couple of crazy tenants and whatnot, but that's what we pay the property management company for. I never get those kind of conversations. But if somebody wants to talk about what ball player played here, what happened here and there, that conversation, those subject matters always come to me on a regular basis. But I never have anybody come up to me and say, "Hey, man, if you put half down or I put half down, and we drop a legal contract, go on legal Zoom, call it a day, make it legit. Maybe we could come up and do something special, and having a job can become an option." But those kind of conversations really don't happen that much. So that's my biggest pet peeve. But, you know, gaining more financial knowledge and financial education is the biggest priority, and should be the biggest priorities in everybody's life right now, because more and more jobs, like I always said, are going to be taken away because of automation or robotics. And you think I'm lying? Do the research on your own. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just going off of the research that I've gone off of, that I've done on my own. So you can take your own research and take your own stab at it and go from there, you know. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care about the sports and entertainment industry. You want to know why? And it's a crazy thing. I'm not in the sports and entertainment industry. Do I look like Jerry Maguire to you? No. Would I like to be Jerry Maguire? Not really. I wouldn't mind Jerry Maguire money, but I really don't want to deal with babysitting overgrown adults. So that's not my business. Who get paid a lot of money to have temper tantrums just because they're good at a specific sport and whatnot. So yeah, if I was in the entertainment business or the sports business, then I would be very knowledgeable. But I'm in the making money business slash real estate investment business, and that's what I'm trying to gain my knowledge and skills and trying to advance in those specific areas when it comes to that. So that's my business. And because the craziest thing, I heard the dumbest conversation the other day while I was having lunch, and I don't like to dumb myself down, but it was talking about certain celebrity. I won't mention the person's name and how they got into a specific situation. This celebrity makes a lot of money. Awesome for this person. More power to him. But I'm saying to myself, why do you? I wanted to say to this specific individual, why do you care about what the celebrity is doing? What is that? What is that person? What value outside of entertainment is that celebrity really adding to your life? And I guarantee I would have heard crickets. But I excuse myself from the table because there's no point in making a scene over something that doesn't really matter. But moral of the story is, I value money, but I value my time way more than money, and I would hope most reasonable adults do. And when it comes down to wasting my time, I really am not in the mood for it because money I can always get back. Time something I can never get back. So I value that more than anything else. So if you're in the business of wasting time, go for it. But that's not the business I ever want to be in. So, and I look at it like this when it comes to getting your tax return. If you're already a person, and if you're not, you should try to become a person that lives way below their means and, saves and invests about 10 to 15% of their income, then you're already ahead of the game. And if you get a tax return, then, hey, that could put you in a better position if you get around the right people and say, hey, if we do X, Y, Z, we could really make some passive income. We can take a couple of risks here and there, but if we work as a collective team, we could really come up and we could get to a position in life where having a job is an option and not a must. So, and I'll end this video saying this, if your lifestyle doesn't help you grow physically and mentally, and it definitely doesn't help your pockets grow, then you really got to ask yourself this one question. What are you doing there? Is it really benefiting you? Is it really benefiting your family? Or are you just surviving? You played the surviving game long enough. Let's play the benefiting more out of life game. Let's play the teamwork game. Let's play the ownership game. Because I hear this saying on YouTube all the time from various people, Dr. Royce Watkins, I forgot the other gentleman's name, but they say they have a saying, say own to be owned. So you need to own real estate, you need to own a business, because those, at the end of the day, those are the people that are going to benefit from majority of the things from a financial perspective in this economy. So anyways, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, it's all good. Have a nice life and be safe out there because the weather's going to get crazy. All right, this is Larry signing off.